Gallagher, Senator Boyhan. You have 7 minutes, Senator.
I'd firstly like to warmly welcome the Minister to the House and put on record that at any time I've made contact with his office, he's been more than forthcoming in facilitating both a prompt and speedy response to his communications in relation to this matter and other matters, and also for facilitating 1 or 2 meetings with the parents and the stakeholders, and in both cases with county councillors, and they were impressed and they appreciate that you should give of your time and personally not delegate that function to anybody else but to oversee it yourself. And I want to acknowledge that because I think that's important. I welcome the Minister's comprehensive report here today, and I particularly note that the Minister states that having received and reviewed the position that no school service will be withdrawn for the coming year, and I think that's also to be welcomed. I also just want to say that you say here in conclusion that you're reviewing the School Transport Appeals Board that was submitted, and I think it would be interesting to have some feedback on that once you've reviewed it and what the recommendations are. I think it's interesting that you said in your opening remarks that this scheme was first established in 1968, and you started with the sentence, "equality of access to school." And I want to cite a particular case. It's one that I've raised with your office before, and it relates. It's an issue that a councillor, Councillor Nicholas Crossan from Donegal County Council, raises with me, and it's of a particular family. Now we're talking about post-primary school, of a family of 3, where their oldest had gone on to a school that was not the shortest distance. There was a difference of about 1 kilometre between these 2 schools, Buncrana and Carandonna School, and there were 2 different routes. And this particular family, because I think it's important to give an example to try and illustrate what I'm saying, their 3 children had chosen to continue to send the other 2 children, so the 3 would go to Buncrana School. 1 kilometre in the difference between Carandonna School and Buncrana School. It is a school of their choice. We talk so much in education about choices in education, and that covers a whole range of reasons. It could be for ethos, it could be for disability, it could be for special needs, it could be for a whole range of issues. And we're going to treat everyone, we've got to treat them all equally. And in this particular case, in this particular family, they have been refused. I understand that the guide or the measure of the scheme is 4.8 kilometres is deemed to be eligible for the scheme. So you need to be within that frame to be eligible for the scheme. I also understand that if you have a medical card and you go to the nearest school, it's free. If you have a medical card and you go to the school down the road of your choice, it's not free. If you have no medical card and you go to the nearest school, for one child it's 350. 350. What on earth are we doing in this day and age, charging people to go to a school? And what are we talking about in terms of our commitment to invigorating and supporting rural communities? I so happen to live in Dunleary in South County Dublin. I think of 15 national schools around the door. I certainly 8 or 9 secondary schools, be it private, be it single-sex, multi-denominational, no-denominational, people educate together. So I ain't complaining there. But people around the country don't have those choices, and I think that's really important. I spoke to somebody in this same location who told me they were Church of Ireland, and they can have it free. I'm Church of Ireland myself, so I have no difficulty in saying that. I'm a member of the Church of Ireland tradition. So they can go free, based on their religious background and their choice. That can't be right in a republic in 2017. That surely can't be right, and I'm open to, and I'd like to hear what the Minister has to say about it. So if we're talking about choice because of tradition, because of choices in the different models of education, or because some of the younger siblings wish to follow on to their older ones in a particular school, surely we need to support them. I think the scheme is not flexible enough, Minister, and I accept absolutely what you're saying. You've inherited a scheme, but it isn't flexible enough, and I think that's important. It is important that we have equal access to education and that we respect parents' choices. And it's interesting because the Minister of Education was in here recently talking about the special status in terms of the baptismal arrangements for schools. And again, the Church of Ireland, of which I'm a member, and I'm not afraid to say it, have had preferential treatment. Is that right in a republic in 2017? I suggest no. No, no. All people are treated and respected and cherished and given equal access to health, to education, to community services and every other service in this state. So, Minister, I'm asking the question without personalising it. Oh, by the way, in this particular case, this family who've decided to go 1 kilometre on from Carandonna, not to go to the Carandonna school, but to go to the Buncrana school, are capped at the max of £650, because that is the cap for the max. So they're paying it. So it really begs the question, why are we asking people in rural parts of Ireland, in isolated communities, why are we asking them to pay anything to access a state school and state education system? I think it is fundamentally wrong. I think funds, and I expect that there's a huge amount of money has been spent, but funds have to be put in place to support families who wish to have education, and ideally, if they had the choice, we would have community schools, open to all, embracing all tradition and culture and background. But the reality on the ground, we don't have it. Currently, we don't have it, particularly in rural parts of Ireland. So, I know it's broad statements I've said there, but I think it's a really issue, and we cannot make case for one over another. I would ask you in relation to this case, Minister, can you tell me, is there any room for a change in the Carandonna-Buncrana situation, based on the road infrastructure there, based on the fact that school buses have not been able to go on some of these roads for up to 2 months in the winter, based on the fact that families want to continue to go on where their siblings are already in a school, where they have built relationships, where some of these children can stay on in that school with their senior brother or sister, so they all come home together. People are flexible, parents are flexible. But are we seriously saying, in 2017, under a Fine Gael independent alliance government, that the priority is to rebuild, consolidate and support rural communities? Because if we are, and I don't doubt your personal commitment, Minister, we need to start in areas of health and education and community services. I think this is an area that needs to be addressed in the interest of fairness and equality.